Hi, Georgette here from the Financial Gym, and welcome to this replay. Now, I've had quite a few calls over the last week, particularly this morning, and it seems there is a common theme amongst the people I'm speaking to, and it's all around financial stress. Now, I do deal with that, I know, but it just seemed to be the main topic of conversation, and particularly these are new people. So I thought I would scribble down a few notes and give you what are 3 tips that I propose you give a try to see if you can navigate the choppy waters of just financial mental headache.
Firmer figures knows your money, cuts down on strife. Time to trust your future. Firmer figures love your life.
Now, I can't teach you how to get rid of your debt and all of that right now. That takes time. But you need your energy to be able to deal with it all and to get to the next stage, just to survive. So, first thing I'm going to suggest you do, you've heard the saying, no doubt, where energy goes, or where focus goes, energy flows, should I say. It is one of the hardest things to say to people, but you really do need to stop fixating. You are not a person who is in debt or who has financial issues. You are a person who is dealing with them. You will get there by whatever means necessary, even if it means you make the decision that you don't want to solve the problems in this particular business, but whatever it is, you will deal with it. So you need to firstly stop focusing on the negatives and the problems that you're facing. Every minute, hour, or day that you worry is another minute of energy, another hour of energy that you're taking away from your ability to sort your problems out. Now note, I say sort your problems out as opposed to fix them. What you are undertaking is a process. It is a series of action steps that over time will slowly get you from A to B. Now, some of you are saying, I don't have slowly, I need to do this quickly. Then you just move that much faster. And what you need is to find much better and quicker strategies to fix or deal with whatever it is that is hampering your business and hampering your cash flow. Number 2, take back control. It's easy for me to say stop fixating, but you can't just stop doing something without putting something else in its place. So the focus now needs to go on feeling as if, even if you haven't completely solved what you're dealing with, you feel more in control of the situation, even in a small way. So how I suggest you do that, this is a little method. I can't go into it too deeply, it would be here too long. But if you want to know a bit more about how it works, feel free to contact me at financialgym.com/contact, and I can take you step by step through it in a bit more detail. But let's imagine you're getting chasing letters from suppliers, or your tax, your VAT is due, and you know right up you haven't got the money to pay all of those. You probably haven't paid yourself in a while. Maybe you need stock, and you need stock to trade, and you haven't been able to pay that supplier. What I suggest you do is you look at what you can afford, and usually in a business scenario, which is a little bit different to a personal scenario, it is not a big stretch to be able to see that there is some surplus that you can play with. Maybe, obviously not enough, but something. Take that total amount and make a note, park it, and then, this is the hard part, but it's where taking control really does kick in. List down, just get a piece of paper and list down everybody that you owe money to or who is chasing you, the full amount you owe them, and add that up. Now, if you are lucky, the amount that you wrote down earlier, i.e. the surplus that you can play with or negotiate with, is more than your total amount. I suspect that is probably the other way around. So what you do is you look at the suppliers and you make a judgment call as to who needs to get paid a bit more than others, and you pay percentages to each one. Once you've decided how much of a percentage or what amounts you're going to pay to each one, go online and set those payments up automatically, so that every week, I've got people who, when I first started working with them, were doing it every day and just putting a little bit amount to that particular supplier, that particular creditor, every single day. So every day they got up, they weren't making a huge dent, but every day they got up, a little bit more was being chipped away. And also what it does is at the other end, the people who you owe money to can see you're showing willing, because the last thing you want to do is just ignore them completely. And what we tend to do is ignore them communication wise, and we ignore them from paying them. So at least if you don't really want to speak to them, because that can be hard, send them some money and let them see that you mean business. You're serious about clearing this. When I said earlier also about choosing which is your priority, it may seem like the one that you owe the most money to might be the one you prioritize, but I would say you prioritize the one that can cause you the most damage if you don't pay them. Usually top of that list is your landlord if you rent your premises, and the other one is the VAT office. Now, the other two taxes, or the other taxes, the main ones, i.e. your tax return, your self-assessment if you do that, and your corporation tax, you can usually come to some sort of agreement or negotiate. Not always, and not always in your favour, but there's room for dialogue. The VAT office, they're the mean girls of the tax, the tax world. Trust me, just do your best to pay them, because they just make your life hell. If you can't do the VAT, there is still the option to negotiate. But if you can get rid of them, everything else is a little bit more palatable and a little bit easier. So we've taken away that, well, not taken away, we've reduced that headache. I would say, I was hesitating to do this one because people would go, you're just telling us that you're in debt, we're in debt and we need to start making little payments. But I actually think that the third thing you should do is get support. And that support could cost you. Now, I know stories of people who have been in real trouble and they've maxed out their credit cards, remortgaged their house to go and work with that 5-figure mentor. I'm not necessarily saying that, but something is not working within your business, and often it is us. And it tends to be because running your own business, being a boss, or even if you're a sole trader, you are alone. Even if you have a company, to be fair, you can often be alone at the helm. Having somebody who can bring a different perspective to your scenario, not just the financial situation, but your business as a whole, there is no value to that if they can help you to truly level up. So I would always say, take some of that money if you can and find somebody, that person you've been really wanting to work with, that you think you and them really could gel and they could really make a difference for you. Invest in yourself by investing in them. Now, if that really, really is a stretch, and I get it, then there are other ways to do it. But the idea is, remember at the beginning when we said where focus goes, energy flows? The object of this exercise is that you've taken some control with step 2. You've taken some action in terms of dealing with the coalface problem. But now we need to look at the overall problem. What is it that I can do so that I don't get here again? That's where the coaching and the mentorship comes in. But if that isn't on the cards at the moment, it's not feasible, then find another goal, because you don't want to be, as I said earlier, a person in debt. You're a person that has debt, but you're also a person that has a goal to do X, Y, or Z. One, for me, was always personal health. My weight, getting fit, Hence, you may not have seen the connection, the financial gym. I found that often when my finances weren't right, neither was my physical well-being. So I used to have to use the same methods to push those up. That could be one for you. It may be that you can't afford a mentor, but you need to learn more about traffic, Facebook ads or something. Your goal is to be up and running with a great Facebook ad campaign that gets people on your list. What a great way to take your mind off what your problems are and onto what you could achieve. And I'm just throwing out some examples. I'm sure you have some more. In fact, I'd love to know what examples you have of ways that you have goals that you are striving for to take your mind off your stresses. They may not be financial stresses. Being in business is hard anyway, whatever they may be. So those are the 3 steps. So to recap, don't fixate. Try and think of something else. 2, take back some control so that you feel as if you are the boss, you are the master of your ship, your destiny. And thirdly, don't do this alone. Find a coach, a mentor, an accountability group, or set yourself a goal. Better still, set yourself a goal that you are held accountable to by someone who, even if they're not mentoring you, but will check up on you and actually say, have you done it yet? And you feel obligated to have done what you said. As I said, if you have any comments of your own or any suggestions of your own, I'd love to hear them. And what are you dealing with? If you want to know more about me and what I do, please do go over to financialgymforbusiness.com. And it's been lovely sharing with you. Speak to you soon.
Firmer figures knows your money, cuts down on strife. Time to trust your future. Firmer figures, love your life.